All right. Good day, everyone. This is CJ, and I'm excited to be here today with another edition of Hump Day with Bix Weir. You know the man, you know the myth, the legend. Really doesn't need any introduction at all, so I'm not sure why V does that every week. But anyway,
He likes to hear himself talk.
that's, you can say that. I can't, Bix, okay? You can get away with it. So Bix, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm crazy busy with exciting stuff, and just digging behind the scenes of manipulation and teaching everybody kind of what's real and what's not real, and learning myself what's real and what's not real. It can be very challenging at times, but I can't think of a better time in human history to be alive and fighting these fights.
I couldn't agree with you more. We're watching such a huge, transition period start to evolve, geopolitically, here domestically. Exciting time for new systems to be coming online, and glad. I mean, this is something we should all just be embracing and celebrating, Bix.
Yes, absolutely. And with the cryptos, I know a lot of people are like, man, I should have sold in December, and all the technical triggers are firing now. So everyone's like, sell. It's the end of Bitcoin and all that stuff. Yeah, a funny thing about technical analysis, and I've dealt with this since the 90s, is that it's used as a way to manipulate markets. It isn't used really, oh yeah, this is going to go this way because of the fundamentals of whatever you're trying to invest in. It's mainly used ultimately to trick the other side when you're a big manipulator. You can get everything pointing as dark as can be. Everybody shorts the market, and then boom, some gigantic manipulation comes, and the whatever asset it is skyrockets. Or the exact opposite. All the buy signals are there, and then boom, the big manipulator comes in and slams it the other way. And that's kind of the way they manipulate markets. That's what happened to Bitcoin and the cryptos. In November, they tripled Bitcoin from mid-November to mid-December, getting in all the weak hands, firing off all the technicals. Everybody's buy. And then they slammed it down and destroyed the sentiment of the people who got in, obviously at the highs, but even those who say, oh, I should have sold in December. And they slam it down. This time they use the Mt. Gox Bitcoin part of it. And we talked about this at certain points, they just sold just because the technicals were changing. As soon as they start to level off, they'd sell another huge chunk, and finally the gigantic chunk at to drive it under $6,000, $5,000. So everybody now is saying, oh, well, the technicals are flashing, sell. The reality is the technicals have no real meaning in anything, especially in a rigged market. There's no reason that the Bitcoin and the cryptos are in this bear market, supposedly mini bear market. There's no reason for it other than manipulation. So, will it be manipulated the other way and all the technical guys be caught off guard? I would say probably. I don't know if it's this current downswing, but at some point, the technical guys are on the wrong side and the manipulators just fleece them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean, for far too long, the money controllers have had their hands into everything, every aspects of our lives, and with the dollar and the dollar potentially shifting to something else, it gives us an opportunity to evolve for something new. Too long, the money controllers have decided which companies succeed, which companies don't, and I'm glad to see. It's kind of changing the subject a little bit, but here lately, Trump went after Amazon, and we see where I think that they kind of a little plummeting today happening with them, Bix.
Oh, absolutely. And Facebook is being destroyed from the inside out because of the criminality that goes on. I mean, talk about breaches of privacy. That company, I was reading a list of all the things that the data that they have on you. They track where you walk, where you visit every day. I mean, unless you somehow turn off that monster, it is going to track everything you do. They'll track all your financial transactions. It's just insane what they've been able to get away with. And I think that those days are over for social media. The hey, I'm going to analyze the way you live and then sell you products. And oh, by the way, give your data to the NSA or the CIA or whatever it is. I think those days are dying fast. And I heard that Zuckerberg was called in front of the UK Parliament and he refuses to go. So it's getting really ugly out there in Facebook and social media land and in Amazon and all these companies. I never liked the Amazon business model. And that business model was basically try to steal every customer you can so that people have no other choice. They used to call those monopolies back in the day. So why do they get away with it when they make almost no money? And it's all about living off debt and surviving because you have a high market share, not necessarily because you're making the gigantic bucks. So yeah, it's a crazy world.
Yeah, and again, with the disruptive systems that are coming online, including companies like Steemit, evolving to a new world based upon tokens, cryptocurrencies. If we could just get more people to open their eyes to it, and whether you're an investor or a trader, or you look at it from the utility aspect, I'm one that's sold on the future of it, and I'm really excited about the cryptocurrency. I'm glad you're here today because I've been busy the last few days because I've kind of been tuned out a little bit. So what's going on in the markets, Bix?
Well, the cryptos are just flatlining, and everybody's playing the technical analysis game. The good thing is all the weak hands are pretty much gone. And so at some point, the only people selling right now, I think, are the technical traders. And once that's done with, we should have a huge run up because of the coiled spring of manipulation has a lot of energy ready to go up, but also because there's all kinds of new people that will be getting into the cryptos in the next run up. I mean, we're talking your brother, your sister, your aunt are starting to hear about it. They hear that people have done well. They're all laughing. Your Bitcoin went down, what is it, 80% since the highs, 70%, whatever it is right now. But if you go back 4 months before November, I mean, Bitcoin's up big time. It was hovering around $5,000 or $6,000 all not too long ago, less than 6 months ago. So it is a crazy ride, a lot of manipulation, a lot of banks in there saying, oh no, it's dead, it's dead, it's dead again. Bitcoin has been declared dead so many times. So I think we're about to, the selling is about to abate. And then everybody will look around and say, oh my God, there are real companies here. There's real reason for this technology. And all the FUD will fade away and we'll have the next run. So just sit tight. And I'm not a trader. I think all the traders love to brag about their wins. You never hear about their losses. And the worst thing I can imagine right now is being out of a crypto that you think is going to do well when all of a sudden it's going to blow up sky high. I'm a hodler and absolutely hodlers don't have to jump up and down and say, here's how much money I made. Hodlers can just sit there and say, hey, I made an investment. I invested for a reason. At some point in time, I could sell that or more likely trade it for something else. But for now, I'm an investor in an amazing industry, and the volatility does not faze me.
Right. Well, and there's been a lot of discussion regarding asset-backed cryptos, whether it's gold, silver. Some of our colleagues have some discussions with that. So, what are your thoughts on the gold, the silver-backed cryptos, Bix?
Well, it's first of all, it stems from not the crypto people, not the people who understand cryptos. It stems from the gold and silver people who really can't get their head around why a cryptocurrency has any value at all. And because it stems from that, but they see it doing so well, they're like, okay, we'll take the cons of owning metal, the things that don't work as a money in the metal space, which is transportability, things like that, and we'll try to put them on a blockchain so that we get the best of both worlds. What they're failing to understand is a couple things. The number one thing is that cryptos are a trustless system for the most part. A good crypto, you don't have to trust anybody. You can trust that you can trust the math. 2 + 2 = 4. When you throw in crypto backing, you add a layer of risk that is not necessary. The risk of confiscation, the risk of somebody stealing the metal, and all that. So I don't think any of the backed cryptos will work in the long run. And there's dozens of them coming out right now. I mean, literally, I counted 9 gold-backed projects and 4 or 5 silver-backed projects. All trying to say, oh yeah, we'll hold your metal for you, which is another huge problem if you're a gold or silver bug. You don't invest in gold and silver so that somebody else holds your metal. that was just crazy.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of this wrong, but I guess for the sake of conversation, does with a token, doesn't a token kind of do the same aspect of it because you're holding a token in exchange at some point for a good or service?
Well, yeah, but applying that to gold and silver, do you really need it? I mean, do gold and silver bugs? I guess if you don't want to hold your own metal, it might be useful. But
I wouldn't trust it elsewhere.
I know it's one of those things. I really think they're being invented for the gold and silver bugs who can't give up the ghost. They can't give up the ghost that gold and silver probably will not be money anymore. And that's hard for a lot of people to do. Not a lot of people. A lot of people have made the switch in the understanding that a trustless system is better than trusting a third party to mandate that you have to use gold and silver as money. And that's what a lot of these gold and silver bugs want. After the old system, fiat system dies, they want mandates that gold and silver need to be used as money. And all that does, truthfully, if you look at who owns all the gold and silver in the world, it's the banksters. The banksters own all the gold and silver, other than a couple, people with some silver investments in their hand, little tiny investors. But the vast majority of silver and gold is held by the banksters, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. And do we really want to give back control of our monetary system to those bastards? I don't think so.
No, not at all, and that's why they continue to ratchet up the amount of information that they're countering. The cryptocurrency, whether it's it's used for terrorist activities or it's going to be blocked by all countries, and there's so much. It's still going to evolve. And I read the other day that there was an exciting new launch. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it allowed you to transfer Bitcoin in text messages using SMS. Completely off of like an application or anything else. So again, the technology continues to evolve. It's only going to get better, and I'm excited about the future of it. So, and then also, Bix, you want to update us regarding Vertasium? Is that correct? What's up with them?
Yeah, it is a bank killer. It is a capital markets saver. It is something that is a token and a protocol that I think can change the world. The problem with the world right now is mass rehypothecation of assets. So every share of stock out there, you get 5 or 10 owners of that exact same share. It's traded in milliseconds back and forth, and there's no settlement of trades. And that's what the DTCC is all about. They're supposed to settle these trades. With Veritasium, you can come in and you can remove the Goldman Sachs's and the New York Stock Exchanges and any kind of capital asset intermediary, and just do peer-to-peer transactions. If you have a stock, a bond, or whatever you got in your physical possession, and you want to trade it on a market or with someone, you can use Veritasium peer-to-peer transactions. And that's where the bankers make their money. So you got all kinds of FUD about Reggie Middleton, the guy who invented it, and is really doing the right thing. He's going around to the large capital players and saying, hey, you want to veritize this, investment, real estate REIT or whatever you got on the capital market side, you can use Veritasium and cut out the middleman. And I think that it is going to be so big when he gets there's a big scuttlebutt the other day that somebody found a Veritasium smart contract with the word Ritz-Carlton or Ritz. It was Very.Ritz. And it was, they were like, oh my God, the first deal with Ritz-Carlton has been done, blah, blah, blah. So, Veritasium went crazy and went up like 100%. The reality is, no, it wasn't a deal that was done. It was Reggie showing investors and his staff how to use the smart contracts. So everybody and their mother is waiting for that. I know it's funny, but everybody and their mother is waiting for that first deal for Veritasium, because that will really open the floodgates and show the world that you don't need Goldman Sachs. You don't need these people sucking the value out of transactions. So yeah, I believe in Cliff's data that Veritasium is going to be priced much higher than Bitcoin ultimately. And you can get it for like $150 right now.
Yeah, I watched Reggie's most recent interview, and thank you for sending the link. I think it's with Crypto Blood. Is that right?
Crypto Blood's awesome. That guy's a smart dude.
Yeah, and it was very interesting to watch him walk through the beta. I'm not sure if that's the appropriate word for it. I can't remember what he called the test, I guess, if you will, that's out there, and how one could actually go in and, if you have an asset, and how to use Veritasium to be able to trade, do different things. So it's kind of tough sometimes when you hear these things to put your mind around it exactly, like, how it's going to work and everything, because I'm more of a visual type, learner. But going off based upon what he discussed, I think you're right. It could be very disruptive to all those big financial giants that for so long have dealt with the trades, dealt with the markets. Who knows what exactly happens with the funds once they go in, how many times they sell the same thing over and over. So to provide that type of transparency would be a huge paradigm shift.
Absolutely. And we're not talking a little market here. The capital markets are, I think it's $700 billion market. No, $1 trillion markets. I don't know, billion. I don't know what it is. but it's so big, and it's like you can veritize anything in as far as an exchange between two financial parties. And that's the ability that when that first deal hits, that's when you're going to see these crazy crypto runs that, when the first product is released, you're going to see jumps of 1,000%, 2,000%. I mean, really, it really is probably, if it works and if it is adopted by people who want to save, 50% on their transactions. Yeah, it is a game changer. It's a huge disruptor. So the banks are spreading as much FUD as they can. But yeah, that's going to be a monster.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, and the scale model that he's talking about, and I can see how it works. The difficult part, I think, is going to be working with the regulators and how he's going to do that, whether it's domestically or internationally. I imagine there's going to be a lot of conversations, regarding managing those assets, because in a way it kind of is, right? I mean, or am I thinking of that wrong?
No, absolutely. He is working with the regulators. He's not going to do anything to piss them off. He's working with them and not against them, because it is highly regulated markets that he is going to disrupt. And that the ability of Veritasium to do that is just, the potential is unlimited, really.
Yeah, very, very exciting stuff. I mean, I'm just, again, funny, today we had an interview with Jim Willie, and we actually brought up the conversation he did about the gold in the Grand Canyon today, Bix. So,
oh, that is, I mean, I've proven that story time and time again. I would love to take people there and show them, but you're not allowed to go to that part of the Grand Canyon. So, it's one of those things. It's like I could spend my whole life finding all the facts. I've found enough to satisfy me and a lot of the Road to Ruta people, but also it's like Peggy and Sterling Seagrave, who spent their whole lives tracking down Yamashita's gold, have just reams of documents and proof and congressional testimony that it's real, that there's hundreds of thousands of tons of gold involved in that. And yet it means really it means nothing. You proved it, okay, and now what? People still say there's only 190,000 tons of gold in the world. They still don't calculate any kind of potential for other stores of gold. So what's the use in proving something when the world doesn't want to believe?
Right, exactly. Yeah, kind of similar to some of the items that you discovered with the comic books, right? With some of the characters and Alan Greenspan, how that's looted. And I guess is there a new character that's recently been released?
There's a new comic book. Okay, for those who don't know about the Road to Ruta, it all sprang from a very cryptic comic book that the Fed put out in 1981 and then redid on January 1st, 2007, right before the crash. And it's all about going back to a gold standard. And this little character named Ruta, Roota, is searching for a way back to the gold standard. And I've done full analysis on it. Root A is a programming term. It's the basis of our electronic financial system. That financial system was created by Alan Greenspan in the 60s and 70s. He blames himself in his book for the Y2K problem. Most people don't even know that Greenspan is a computer programmer. He was the world's best computer programmer all the way from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So that's where the Road to Ruta stuff came from originally. And then the Fed the end of last year put out a new comic, which was it was a high-tech comic. It was like, living in a high-tech world. And, that's what Cliff High says we're moving into. And it was kind of confirmation from the Fed. But just recently, they put out a new comic called The Story of the Federal Reserve. And in it, they have a character named Glix, Glix. And this character does basically everything I did. Goes into the Federal Reserve archives, and I studied the Fed archives for like 4 or 5 years before I discovered all the Road to Ruta stuff. But this is what this character does.
No way! You got to be kidding me!
But not only that, this character is a singer and turns into a rock star. I wanted to be a rock star. No. And it has pictures of him, taking pictures, selfies with people. Everybody I meet in the crypto world, like down on Acapulco, they all wanted selfies. Like in the lobby way, they're like, "Hey, Bix, can I take a selfie with you?" I'm like, "Oh my god, this is hysterical!" And it's just another kind of quiver, or what is it? The arrow in the quiver. That the Fed is paying attention to the Road to Ruta stuff. They know that what's really going on in the Grand Canyon. They know what's really going on with the manipulation of markets via computer programs invented by Alan Greenspan. It's all true on the Road to Ruta. And if you take the time and look at all the facts that I've laid out over the last 20 years, it becomes very easy to see what's going on with our markets now, and the battle between the good guys and the bad guys behind the scenes. So we are really getting into that point now, though, that I think we're going to see a lot of action, so to speak, in the markets and in the fight between good and evil when it comes to Trump and the people who control Trump, who I call the good guys. Trump was just a bull in a china shop, and that's his job, is to go create havoc while people are getting taken down behind the scenes. A lot of rumors that there's going to be some big takedowns this weekend of the bad guys. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we kept asking to see some arrests, see some things that were occurring, and it looks like a pivotal moment where perhaps the deep state was unrooted from North Korea, that allowed Kim Jong-un to visit Xi Jinping the other day, and now you hear about Trump meeting him. So that is a big change. And then also you see where Trump is significantly pointing out Amazon. Everyone knows the amount of work that Amazon does with the CIA, Facebook with the CIA. They're data mining and watch all these things. So it may not necessarily be on the surface where we're watching people in handcuffs being arrested, but there's definitely some signs there, some things that something is changing. And I thought at the beginning that perhaps Facebook was kind of being thrown under the bus about everything because of, when you sign up for Facebook, it has all those disclosures there that basically says they're going to take everything from you or know everything about you and sell it. That's why I laugh about when people say, I didn't know that application was doing that. Shoot, even if you download Snapchat or any type of application that says, by the way, you're agreeing for us to pretty much, rob your data and track everything that you do. Yeah. So we agree to it, right? So it's voluntary, but yeah, so we're starting to see some of these things, occur, and hopefully, knock on wood, I'm still optimistic that the next stage can be, we can actually witness, Hillary, Obama, the deep state players. I'm still trying to get this entire realignment with national security and everything, and figure out where he's going to go with that. But maybe he's pointing them up there to be the next fall person.
Yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is behind the scenes, they're being removed. The bad guys are being removed behind the scenes. So that's what I always rely on. And then ultimately, the fog clears and you say, oh, that's what was going on. Oh, okay, now I get it, and things like that. So ultimately, we will get freed from these bastards, but we don't see much of it. A lot of it's amazing. A lot of what was going on behind the scenes for the last 10 years, and we didn't see any of it. But now that Trump's where he is, we're starting to see some of it be shown to the public, and especially with all the WikiLeaks stuff and did you
see where they cut his internet today? Did you see where Julian Assange's internet, he's been completely blacked out now, where he can't communicate at all?
Well, see, that's I don't. He can't leave the embassy, right? And so they cut the embassy's internet.
The entire internet and everything. Like he has no access. I saw Kim.com put something out asking for people to go to the embassy and protest that.
Or just bring a hotspot and let him use it.
There
right?
That's a great idea. Yeah. Here's my web key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's more. I think that something else is going on. I do think we're in the point where everybody's kind of going quiet. Trump is firing all the good guys to put in bad guys in place, and I think we're on the brink of some serious takedowns. And hopefully, it's related to what the New York police department has in their possession from Anthony Weiner's laptop, which is all the criminality of the Clintons and probably of the Bushes as well, and Podestas. And this isn't a Democrat versus Republican thing. This is good guys versus bad guys. So I think this weekend should be an exciting one. I don't know how it's going to go down, but just keep your eyes open.
Yeah, let me ask you a quick question, and as it relates to that. So obviously we this past week the petro yuan oil futures went online, and obviously that's a huge dagger blow to the petrodollar. In the event that the dollar does come down, do you think they'll try to blame it on something, blame it on someone, blame it on an event? What are your thoughts on that, Bix?
Well, from my research, the petro yuan doesn't matter. The amount of they used to need the petrodollar, but they don't anymore with the massive amount of derivatives that get traded on on the exchanges, derivatives on the U.S. dollar, derivatives on oil. I mean, it's all fantasy now. So when you're talking about another derivative, which is the petrodollar or the petro yuan or whatever you want to call it, it is not necessary in a world of awash in derivatives. So yes, the system will stay under control as long as the U.S. wants to keep it under control using the derivatives. And J.P. Morgan, funnily, is that a word? Funny, J.P. Morgan said I think they transact $5 trillion worth of business out of their secret Florida money office. Jamie Dimon said that. And
wow.
That's a company that's worth maybe less than $2 trillion, and yet they're transacting $5 trillion a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's all derivatives to control the system via
floating the money around.
Oh, crazy! So whether or not this is a killer for the U.S. dollar, no, the U.S. controls all markets right now, and the computers, and all you need is a laptop and a mouse. You don't even need a mouse; you can click your mouse pad. But that's all you need to control the markets, and you need the CFTC and the SEC to run cover for you, which they do, and voila, you can be the great and powerful Oz behind the scenes, and they have been since Alan Greenspan invented financial computing back in the 60s.
Excellent, very cool. Let's talk about the crypto remote viewing project. So I watched a little bit of a video about it, so I'm excited to hear what it's about and what's going on with that.
This is so cool. So I've been into remote viewing for quite a while. It always interested me. And people have probably seen that movie, Stare at Goats, or whatever that Clooney movie was. But yeah, the government did have a remote viewing program. They still do. They just told everybody that they closed it down. So I practiced it a little. I'm not very good at it, but there are people who really know how to do it well. One of those guys is Dick Allgaier, and another one is Daz Smith. But Dick and Daz are putting together a thing where they view, they're trying to view cryptos in the future to get kind of a head start on the markets, and amazing results coming out. And that project, you got to go to YouTube and look up, what is it, that crypto viewing. And do you have that? Can you put that, any way to put that website up?
Yeah, I will. I'll do that right now.
So, I just got involved, and there's a couple questions I had, and it came out with some seriously cool results. I mean, crazy type of stuff that is, and those of you who know what remote viewing is, you get it. But if you don't know what remote viewing is, you pick a target without the viewer knowing what that target is, and then you give them target coordinates. And so all the viewer gets is these coordinates, like for a set of 2 numbers type of thing. And from that, they somehow psychically go into that exact target you're looking at. So I put up a couple targets that I still had questions about and got back some earth-shattering results. And we're working on putting something together. We might need approvals from higher ups, so to speak, to get some of the stuff out there. But it's an amazing project that is going to go on. Just go to Crypto Viewing, and the picture's right there on the screen. Make sure you subscribe so that you get the scoop on where this is all going. But yeah, they're moving right along. And if you had some inside scoop on what's going to happen to the future of a cryptocurrency, that could be big money for people who get involved. So check it out. We'll have more information on that in the coming weeks and months, though. And but make sure you subscribe to that.
Yeah, cool stuff. That always interests me. How they say that the movies kind of points the direction of the future is going, and everyone always kind of relates to the Minority Report, right? The pre-crime era when they went into that. And then another one was a really good Denzel Washington movie when, it was a crime movie, and they put him in a room, and it would actually take the power completely out of the city, and he was able, but I think that was actually talking more about bending time or something. But anyway, yeah, very, very interesting stuff to apply that. And that's Crypto Viewing, right? Crypto Viewing. Is there a website for it as well? Because I have the YouTube channel up.
No, I don't think there's a website yet. It should be coming. I don't even know if we need a website, truthfully. Potentially, because the world is changing to video. People are writing books anymore. It's all happening on video. So yeah, I'm not sure if a website will take place, but definitely check it out. And those of you who don't believe, all you got to do is watch a couple of these remote viewers do their thing, and you can't diss the results, because the results are the results. They get it almost exactly. If they're a good remote viewer, almost exactly what the target is, with only knowing the coordinate numbers. They don't know if it's a person, place, or thing. They know nothing, and that's the crazy part about it. And it's really cool if you check it out. If you're into that type of stuff, if you want to know the future beforehand, it could do you very well in the crypto world.
Awesome, cool stuff, man. Any closing thoughts, Bix? Also, please share with our listeners, plug your site, how they can learn more about your work at the Road to Ruta.
Yeah, just go to roadtoruta.com is the website. It explains how I came to understand the craziness in the markets. Or the YouTube. I do a YouTube video 1 or 2 a day usually now, and depending on what's going on, talk about mainly exposing the manipulation in the markets and what's going on with the cryptos and gold and silver manipulation, and how that will all hopefully end one day when we try to return to free markets, which would be really cool in the United States if we had free markets, but we haven't for probably 100 years. So
right. Absolutely.
It'll be crazy.
Exciting times indeed.
Yes. And thank you for taking over for the Harry one.
Yeah, no problem. He sent me a text like on Monday or Tuesday. I can remember what was it. Hey, afternoon shows are going to be yours. So anyway, but yeah, so it's been a lot of fun, Bix. Thanks for being on today. For our fans out there, please subscribe. Please also make sure to share this video. And this is Bix and CJ, and we're over and out. Take care, everyone.